Don't settle for a fake snarler when you can have Beard Brothers' premium range of all-natural sausages. No fillers, no nasty artificial stuff, just meat, herbs and a whole lot of flavour. Perfect for barbecues, weeknight dinners, or any time you want real food that tastes like it should. Proudly New Zealand made, you'll find them fresh in your local Foursquare, New World and Pack and Save. Beard Brothers, crafted with care, the old school way.
We all get a little frustrated, don't we, when we are delayed by roadworks, whether it's your stop-go person, orange cones that funnel us into a slow-moving single lane, a detour that for the life of you can't understand why you're taking it, or maybe it's a newly sealed road that has restricted speed, yet there's nobody on it. What's going on? All of the above, though, does not justify road workers being abused, attacked, and even purposefully hit by cars. Yes. A recent survey of road workers found nearly 2/3 of traffic controllers were verbally abused on a weekly basis, and 1 in 5 have been physically assaulted over the past year. The survey by the Temporary Traffic Management Industry Steering Group included 660 workers across the country who described their experiences and their near misses. Steering Group Chair is Darren Wu, and he joins me now. G'day, Darren.
Kia ora, Leah. Thanks for having me back.
I was going to say, we have spoken about this before, Darren, but it sounds like not much has changed for many road workers. I mean, you say you yourself were actually quite confronted by the findings.
Yeah, that's right. And I think the last time we spoke, we didn't yet have the results. And so a lot of it was anecdotal, what we'd heard from around the sector. And these results now, from almost 700 voices in New Zealand, give us some pretty credible statistics and numbers of what real life situations look like. And It is confronting and something we do need to address.
Can you give us some examples of what workers are facing? I said in the intro, they're being verbally abused or yelled at, I gather sworn at. What other things though, Darren? Because there's worse, isn't there?
That's right. It includes threats or verbal threats as well to road workers. A similar statistic around almost 2/3 of road workers also experiencing drivers refusing to stop. And that includes where they may have a stop-go sign and if it says stop, you should stop, but drivers either miss it or they deliberately don't want to wait. The being struck by a vehicle was another surprising one, whilst a lower number at almost 5% had said that in the last 12 months they'd experienced being struck by a vehicle.
Unbelievable.
Most of these were at low speeds, but some at life-threatening force. And so I think the stark reality is their experiences out in real life are definitely worthy of us paying a bit of attention to and addressing.
Also, gosh, being struck by a vehicle, do you think it was, you did say, albeit low speeds doesn't matter, but do you think the drivers were distracted or unwilling to slow down, or do you think it was is it deliberate?
I think if we were to do the survey again, we'd be keen to get more of those real-life stories. Yeah. I have heard a mixture where either drivers are deliberately wanting or not wanting to stop and choosing to proceed. There has been a case from a company up here in Auckland where at an event, a driver drove over the foot of a road worker because they just refused to stop. And that road worker unfortunately had to go get things checked out. But one other statistic was the near misses. So whilst people perhaps weren't actually hit, most road workers in the past year, half of them had experienced some form of near miss, so almost a collision or almost an injury narrowly avoided. And these were both by distracted drivers who were either using a phone or by speeding drivers. So those who aren't complying to the temporary speed that might be out there.
Yeah, I see you're talking about temporary speed limits. The survey showed that's becoming more common for drivers to ignore them, particularly when you're driving along and you see fresh chip seal on a road and it's asking you to slow down to 30. Sometimes it says 30, and you look around and there's no road workers there. Is that
Yes.
Did that come up? Because people must think, oh, whatever.
It's so we've got some different statistics that weren't part of the survey, and they're around deaths and serious injuries. And I think in the period between 2019 and 2023, there were 350 deaths and serious injuries at roadwork sites. Out of the 350, I think 40 of them were fatalities and the rest serious injuries. And most of the statistics for these numbers are actually the general public, yourself, myself, our families when we're driving around. And one of the causes of those incidents is losses of control. And we do suspect that a portion of those are going to be where people drive through freshly laid chip seal sites, because as the chip is really loose, it's quite dangerous. And when people don't follow the guidelines or the speeds, then they're putting themselves at risk ultimately, particularly at night or something. So we do want to improve public education and help the general public better understand why some of these things are in place to keep them safe ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, let's focus, Darren, now on what does need to be done. The civil contractors boss says it's unacceptable, of course, that traffic control workers face such abuse and violence, and is calling for companies to do more to manage the risks. What would that actually look like? What do the companies have to do?
Yeah, I think part of it is assessing the exposure of road workers to live traffic, but also we've got an opportunity. I think the last time we spoke, we talked about our move to this risk-based approach, and part of that is actually also evaluating the risk of how much disruption you're causing to the general public, and following from that, how much abuse or frustration you might get from them. And when we put road workers in positions where they're having to confront the public in those tough scenarios, we're also exposing them to a higher chance that something of this nature may show up.
Okay.
So one of the recommendations that we've actually put in there for a longer term ambition is to assess whether we're able to remove road workers from live traffic through the alternative use of things like portable traffic lights and other control devices that reduce the amount of exposure for road workers to the public.
Okay. So is there anywhere around the world, or do we use it, say, for stop go? Would there be like a big like a screen or a stand that would go red or green instead of a person standing there?
That's right.
Don't settle for a fake snarler when you can have Beard Brothers' premium range of all natural sausages. No fillers, no nasty artificial stuff, just meat, herbs and a whole lot of flavour. Perfect for barbecues, weeknight dinners, or any time you want real food that tastes like it should. Proudly New Zealand made, you'll find them fresh in your local Foursquare, New World and Pack and Save. Beard Brothers, crafted with care the old school way.